I guess those workouts he was doing with Cassell and those mid rangers really has paid off because he's knocking down those middies, man.
Oh, yeah, I've told you guys since he arrived that it's he had to shoot them because they're there. He's older and he isn't as fast and don't accelerate as high as he used to. But the way that they're playing him, they're giving him that mid-range shot. So just take it.
Yeah.
He's taking it and he's making it. So it's also like the floaters is a mid-range shot. It's not a layup.
Mm.
So all of that stuff, like that, to me, that's been the biggest difference is his willingness to take those shots. So he's not going in traffic and throwing his hands up if he don't get a call. He's just going and taking the little mid-range shot or short shot and punishing teams. So I'm excited with that. Hopefully he continues to play that way.
And it'll open up and give him easier threes again because now teams are worried about him stopping, him popping, him driving.
Yeah, they were pressing him to go one way and try because they felt he wouldn't shoot the mid-range shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they were stand him, basically give him a path and then help at the rim. And then now all of a sudden, if he's taking that shot, they'll be more inclined to shape up. And if they shape up and step back on the move, then it'll open up threes.
It's actually crazy to say this with how accomplished of a scorer Harden is. He's opened up a new part of his game at this stage. Like, it's crazy.
And that's the thing about it. That's why I always said it wasn't anything that I felt he couldn't do. It was just
didn't do it.
Scheme and him just not doing it.
His comfort level, I think. He just wasn't used to because they said, Houston.
Because you were told for so many years and you were so dominant and you were told not to do it. Then
layup or three. Layup or three. Yeah.
It's like the guys when I played, like people say you guys weren't great 3-point shooters, and we didn't work on them because we weren't asked to shoot them.
Mm-hmm. He's the opposite. He was told either three or layup, nothing else. Yes. Do not waste your time with anything inside the arc.
Yes.
So, but which I understand, and obviously it worked for a long time. I'm not going to say it didn't. He had incredible historic numbers, but defense is over adjusted. Now they're just giving you wide open 8 to 10 footers. Like you have to adjust to that now. You can't just be like, you know what, screw it, play me like that. I'm still going to jack them up. That's just dumb. So it took them to take a step back and be like, dude, they're there. Just take them. And kudos to him for realizing that and doing it. It's great. It's going to save him so much energy to try to get open for those threes or to do a layup all the time. It's going to be great. He's and correct me if I'm wrong from anyone in our comments or whatnot. 16 of 22 from inside the arc.
Wow.
Like he was 12 of 17 one game and 4 or 5 in game one. That's crazy. That's the efficiency we're talking about. So he's being efficient. He's making the shots. I think it's great, man. I can't wait for this. This is a lot more of scoring James than I expected. So all those under 21s and 22s that we were talking about before the season, shit, man. I'd say at this point he might, if he, I'm not even gonna say continues this because it's a crazy pace, but then again, it's James Harden, so he has done this before. I'm looking at anywhere from, I'd say 25 to 28 points a game now from him. If this is what it's indicative of what we're going to see as far as him being in shape, that first step in his mid-range game.
Interesting.
Would you guys say Harden's back?
Yeah, I think he's back, but it's a long season. I've seen guys jump off and score 30-some points a game and end up averaging 22. So,
and I thought about that too, Eric, because we saw an explosion in one of those Miami games where he was hitting like 50 footers, like nothing, and it was like, oh man, he's back. And then he went back to not scoring for 3 quarters. I think it's a little different this time, though, because it's not that he just got hot from 3, because he didn't shoot well from 3 yesterday. I believe he was 1 for 7 or 1 for 8. He shot poorly from 3. And usually for the past year, that means he was going to have a really, really bad game if he shot poorly from 3. But
I don't really see, I think he got hot and he started making shots. But I think if you think back to last season when I was talking about James going into the playoffs and what he needed was the timely takeovers, the timely getting aggressive, the timely making plays and shots.
Yes.
And I still feel that's what he'll be. So I think he'll have those games where, like the last game, he just took over and all of a sudden he got this. And I just think he'll have those games where it's not necessary. So he'll have fewer
I hope
plays.
so.
For
his sake.
But if you look at the Boston game, I think he only took 14 shots. I mean, they fouled him on 4 threes.
Mm-hmm.
He had what, 13 points or whatever from that?
Yeah.
13 points from that.
And he was only 4 or 5 inside the arc. So he didn't have to shoot that much.
I think he's playing well and he's going to continue to play well. I just think that his scoring burst will not be that high because I just think that when other guys have it going, he's going to pull back quite a bit, this year. So I just don't see how you can stay up at that level. I just don't think he really that's the way he wants to play anymore, where he has to score that much for us to win.
I prefer not to be that way too. I'd rather have 26 and 10 or 12 than 35 and 7. Yeah. Less energy too for him.
Yeah.
And getting others involved.
And I will say it was nice to have Harden take over when Embiid was having such a bad game. Because, in years past, if Embiid has a bad game, that's it. There's no coming back for us. We were able to do that with Harden. That's the beauty of having him on the squad. So it was nice to see that pick me up from a teammate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But on that though, so the best lineup of the night, it was probably the most fun to watch actually, based on the way Embiid played last night. But the best lineup of the night was Harden, Melton, House, Harrison, Tucker. So a little small ball action that was kind of fun to watch. That was where we got that comeback. It looked like Houston Rockets ball a little bit.
Houston lineup.
Yeah, the fast break points in that spurt was unreal. But my question is, because I saw a lot of hate on social media about people were pissed off that we subbed Embiid back in the game. I think it's funny. Sixers fans were mad that Embiid got subbed back into the game with 4 or 5 minutes left. But my question is, should we have stuck with that lineup that we had, or was Doc right to sub the second half scoreless Joel Embiid back into the game at the time that he did?
He's going to always put that guy back in. He's just, whether it's right or wrong, that's what you're going to do. So, if we're saying that, we putting him back in is not going to help us win, then we're wrong about him. But we can't say that he's our MVP candidate the last 2 years and he should have won, and now going into the season in game 2, we'd be like, nah, I'll stay over on the sideline. It just don't make sense.
Maybe not for the rest of the game, but maybe give that lineup another minute or two because they're playing so well. They were on a 12-2 run with that 5 on the floor. And then with Embiid, he came back in, he fouled, missed a 25-footer, missed a 19-footer.
I know, but I can see if you sub in 3 or 4 or 5 guys, but if you're saying that team goes on the run and we put our best player back in the game and that's a bad thing, then that's a bad thing for us.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, not many games does Embiid go scoreless in the half. I think it's only – was it his first time going scoreless? I think it was third, maybe second time.
Second time.
Yeah.
That was rough. It was a rough half, man. Which goes back to what we were saying earlier, because it's like we were not expecting Embiid going scoreless in the second half to be the reason why we lost. But that was a really fun lineup. I felt like a lot of switching was capable with that group because it was a bunch of those guys that you say play the same position. They were all out there together at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was just saying, man, switch. We can all pretty much guard the same kind of guys. They don't have anyone really big in there anyway. So it worked pretty well, actually. I would not be surprised if we saw this more in the future, especially if, Embiid comes off the floor. We need that burst.
What did you make of that lineup, Eric? Were you a fan? Was that kind of an exciting lineup in there?
Whatever's going to help us win, man. I'm not really, I'm not going to trip on who's in, who's out. Let's just win the game, man.
Yeah.
Let's get a win.
Yeah. But it's nice to have a small ball lineup to be able to
I mean, everybody you have to have a small ball lineup to go to because it becomes necessary at times.
Yes.
At the court, shoot it, pick up your defense. So to be able to have that kind of group that we know we can kind of work with and go to definitely helps.
Yeah.
Because we haven't really had a lineup like that, and I mean, I can't remember. Because last year we didn't have that with a guy who could play, like a Tucker who could play at kind of 5 and 4. I mean, we weren't putting Paul Reed out there for that.
No. And before Harris came back in, that was the all 5 Houston lineup.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When Harrell was in there instead of Harris, it was all 5 Houston players.
Yeah.
Yeah.